Tonight, current and former officers voiced their frustration over the Rhonda Blackmore situation. More details on a police-involved shooting last week in Regina. And are rural ERs operating without doctors?
Live from our studios in Regina, this is CTV News.
Good evening. For more than 4 years, she led the Saskatchewan RCMP, acting as the commanding officer of F Division. Last month, Constable Rhonda Blackmore was removed from her position with no explanation given. Now, former and current members of the RCMP have been expressing their frustration over her dismissal. Angela Stewart has more.
A decorated veteran with the RCMP. Many say Rhonda Blackmore has displayed integrity and leadership throughout her 30-year career, including her time as commanding officer of F Division. But her sudden removal from the position last month has several people searching for answers, including retired Mountie Ginny Perreault.
She was kind of for some of us anyways, I can't speak for everyone, but our beacon of hope for change, and now that just disappeared very quickly, and we still don't know why.
Blackmore assumed the position of commanding officer in April of 2021, but on June 3rd, she was dismissed from her position due to what she claims are anonymous complaints made against her. Those complaints have not been made public. Former and current members of the RCMP believe the lack of transparency surrounding her dismissal is both frustrating and concerning.
That reason of why she's gone, we don't clearly know. This is a first for me, this type of removal. It's certainly the first time I'm this aware of it, and that I have kept thinking about it and not wanting it to be lost in the news.
Perreault, not the only one expressing their frustration. Current members wishing to remain anonymous reached out to CTV News in support of Blackmore. One saying she was the only dedicated member at her rank doing the job for the right reasons, not to increase her pension, but to improve the RCMP and support members as members used to be supported, adding, "We really hope Rhonda will fight this." Another writing, "What Rhonda is going through makes me incredibly scared to speak and to continue serving as an RCMP member. She's honest and trustworthy, and she's proved over and over again she is willing to stand up for police officers and has our backs every step of the way." The provincial government also expressing unease over Blackmore's removal.
It took us by surprise, and we've said quite publicly that we're disappointed in that decision and looking for answers. We're incredibly pleased with the work that she was doing as a partner for the government and other police agencies across the province.
CTV News reached out to the Federal Minister of Public Safety for comment, but did not hear back before deadline. We also reached out to Rhonda Blackmore, who was unable to provide us with an interview, but did say she is grateful for all the support she's receiving during this time. Blackmore has since been named Assistant Commissioner of Indigenous and Support Services for the RCMP. Assistant Commissioner Robin McNeil is serving as interim commanding officer for F Division until a selection process is completed. Angela Stewart, CTV News, Regina.
Saskatchewan's Serious Incident Response Team has released some information on a police-involved shooting that happened Friday morning in Regina. Mick Fable has more on the details and a memorial that's been constructed for the man that was shot and killed.
Anthony Taylor is lighting a candle in memory of a friend. Last Friday, his 29-year-old friend, who he called Sage, was fatally shot by a member of the Regina Police Service at this location. Friends and family have since created a memorial to remember the person he was.
It wasn't anything bad. He wanted to help people. He wanted to help kids. He wanted to even start his own little thing with building bikes and helping kids work hard to earn something that they could have.
The Saskatchewan Serious Incident Response Team released a statement Tuesday giving more details on what happened. Last Friday morning, plainclothes RPS members were searching for a man. When he was found, a confrontation took place. One of the officers discharged his weapon, fatally shooting the 29-year-old male, who was pronounced dead at 11:19 a.m. A replica firearm was recovered at the scene. CERT is investigating the conduct of police during the incident, including the circumstances surrounding the man's death. For now, the man's friends continue to pay tribute, hoping some resolution will come from this situation.
It always gets skipped. It's something that's always just passed on. No one cares about it, right? But we need to care about it.
According According to RPS, the officer who fired the shot is currently away from duty and participating in the CERT investigation. Mick Favel, CTV News, Regina.
Recent statistics show crime rates in Regina declined in 2024 compared to previous years. The report found Regina's crime rate declined from nearly 8,000 reported crimes per capita in 2023 to just over 7,500 last year. It's the first time the city's crime rate has seen a decrease since 2020. Regina now ranks 9th among 41 comparable cities in Canada. Summer staffing shortages are forcing some rural hospitals to restrict emergency room hours. Maple Creek, Watrous, and Kipling are among hospitals recently affected. Today, the NDP opposition visited a number of towns to gauge the impact it's having right now on health care. Wayne Mantika has the details.
Kipling residents thought their local emergency room could resume around-the-clock operation with the arrival of 3 new doctors.
Just met my new doctor. Hope they stay. I don't know. I like the one that did leave, and she moved to BC, I think. But if they stay, I'll be happy.
The doctor shortage may have been solved, but now the hospital is down to just 1 X-ray lab tech. It means the ER remains closed at night and on weekends.
We've got 4, or had 4, who are both lab and X-ray techs. One is on mat leave. One has relocated to another community with her family.
The situation is concerning to an investment group that built a large rental complex across the street from the hospital.
And the people in this area would like to stay in Kipling in their senior years, and that's what our building is for. But it very much depends on the hospital being open and functioning.
Changes to emergency room hours are publicized on the SHA website, but the NDP opposition believes the government must do a better job of informing the public.
The public has a right to know, and the fact that these notices aren't being broadcast by the government publicly is very disturbing to me.
The SHA continues to recruit, and the town is doing its part to help. The local hospital foundation owns 3 houses for doctors and is adding an apartment for out-of-town lab techs interested in picking up a few shifts. Wayne Mantika, CTV News, Kipling.
Wildfire smoke has triggered an air quality alert for most of the province. Regina, other areas of southern Saskatchewan seen the smoke really settle in this morning. As Jasmine Pelche reports, constant smoke and air quality concerns have actually had some residents from northern Saskatchewan evacuating.
What began as a voluntary evacuation for residents in Isle La Crosse soon became mandatory for those with health concerns. The community's deputy mayor, Vince Anicu, says roughly 200 people have left the village. And while the fire isn't an immediate threat, the smoke is.
We finally decided to get some people out, and the hospital sent out the long-term care patients and their patients at the hospital. And we did the same here in town. We got a bus coming in from SPSA.
The province now has 2,800 evacuees, with 8 communities under an evacuation order. Environment Canada forecasts widespread smoke to continue Wednesday in Saskatoon, where Isle La Crosse already sent some residents hoping to escape the smoke up north.
We sent people to Saskatoon, and what happens? All the smoke goes to Saskatoon. Why did they send us here?
An air quality warning was issued for much of the province. The Air Quality Health Index has reached level 10 in several areas, considered very high risk, and Saskatoon residents are feeling the impact.
I'm kind of in a habit of going on the bike ride every morning, so I don't want to miss it, but it's bad.
Like, even waking up, my windows weren't even open, but you could smell it in the house.
Some are masking up just to go outside.
It makes me feel like I have a cold all the time. It's hard to breathe. I get a runny nose.
Environment Canada says that 2025 has been the 3rd smokiest year on record for Saskatoon and 2nd smokiest year on record for Prince Albert. There are 52 active wildfires burning across Saskatchewan. This year, there have been 378 in total, well above the 5-year average of 289. Jasmine Pelche, CTV News, Prince Albert.
Sabine joins us in Weather Center for our first look at weather tonight. And Sabine, yeah, the air quality, the smoke that we were seeing in many places in southern Saskatchewan, really the story for the weather today.
Yeah, as Jasmine just mentioned in her story, much of the province under those air quality warnings currently, Lee, and it looks like we're going to continue to see that as we head into tomorrow. Depending on where you are in the province, air quality health index does vary, but as of tomorrow, we're most likely going to see much of the province in very high risk range, and that's going to be for much of the day tomorrow. Starting tonight, some areas already in those very high risk range as well. So make sure you're keeping an eye on that air quality health index. If you do need to be spending time outdoors, most likely best to just stay indoors, cancel plans if you did have any activities planned for the outdoors, at least for the next day or two. Temperatures, not too bad along southern Saskatchewan. We're seeing those temperatures close to seasonal, if not right in the seasonal range, but the further north we go, we see those temperatures get a little cooler, and they will continue to be cooler as we head into tomorrow as a cold front continues to make its way through the province as well. Average is about 26 degrees. We got up to about 21 today, but as we head into tomorrow, most of those daytime highs are going to be looking like in the high teens, but there is another warm up on the way. I'll have all those details and more coming up in your full forecast. Lee?
All right, thank you, Sabine. The RCMP Training Academy in Regina had a new commanding officer today. Well, actually, two co-commanding officers. Two 10-year-old girls were in charge of Depot Division today. Janine and Tessa were all decked out in their new red surge uniforms. The program is part of the Kids with Cancer Society. Both girls have battled cancer. The two were treated to the ultimate RCMP experience, including a flight to Regina on the RCMP airplane. They ate breakfast with the cadets in the mess hall, flew a police drone, and were fitted with a custom-made uniform that they get to keep.
Immediately they went to the tailor shop and they were fitted for the red surges that you saw in our tailor shop. Put those together in just a few hours for a graduation banquet last night, and they attended the banquet with Commissioner of the RCMP and Secretary of State for Canada, and along with some other dignitaries. They sat at the head table. They enjoyed that.
I thought the band was really good, and the cadets, they sort of looked like a bit tired, and like they weren't like smiling.
Probably exhausted from training. Two girls were trained how to march and salute, and as co-commanding officers, they also gave orders to the drill sergeant.
Greetings, everyone. Pasqua First Nation has been hard at work, planting, watering, and tending to a garden which will one day feed its members. As harvest approaches, there are already plans to expand, growing a variety of fruits and vegetables. CTV's Brittany Poitras tells us more about the nutrients in the soil.
Pasqua First Nation has unveiled their new community garden. Lands manager Candice Carter says the garden will benefit band members inside and out.
When we go to the grocery store, we're not sure where our food comes from, to be honest, right? We just buy it and cook it and we eat it. But here we actually know we started right from a little tiny seed right to a vegetable, and that's the best for us.
Where the garden now stands, once a clear field owned by Delbert Pasqua, whose last wish was to have the land shared.
He summoned us to his house and gave me instruction to take care of the land as best I could.
The soil and seeds planted in this garden represent more than just food. To Councillor Roman Pasqua, it represents the community's values.
I think it has to go in connection with our food sovereignty and feeding our nation members, and not just our members on reserve, but also off reserve.
In the spring, after fundraising and planning, the garden took shape. This garden isn't just about sustainability. It's also about affordability, health, and helping the community.
The cost of buying food has gone up, that I believe that our community needs healthy food, and if we create our own garden, I know that the community can afford to come out and pick their own food for free.
This is year one of a 5-year project with plans for the garden to grow and be home to many types of plants, including medicinal for all band members to access.
So even our community can come out here, and if they want to use some herbs, they can come pick.
Community members are set to receive their free produce for the first time this fall. Brittany Poitras for Indigenous Circle.
If you have a story you would like to see in this segment, here's how to reach us. You can contact me by email, and you can also watch past episodes and segments of Indigenous Circle on our CTV Regina and CTV Saskatoon websites.
Indigenous Circle, brought to you in part by Saskatchewan Indigenous Enterprise Foundation, growing the First Nation entrepreneurial spirit.
Still ahead, premiers meet with the Prime Minister over trade talks with the U.S. and mourning the loss of a music icon. Premiers meeting in Ontario said they had a good discussion with the Prime Minister and learned more about the ongoing negotiations with the United States. But there are two sides to any deal, and Mark Carney made it clear that provinces and territories need to do what they can here at home. CTV's Rachel Aiello has the latest.
Prime Minister Mark Carney was in good spirits as he arrived on scene for today's talks. But quickly, he got down to business.
We are looking for the best deal for Canada. We're only going to accept the best deal for Canada.
Premiers came in saying they wanted clarity on whether the two countries are on track towards a new trade pact by U.S. President Donald Trump's August 1st deadline, and came out indicating they care less about when a deal is reached, rather what is in it.
It sounds like we're making some progress, making sure that we get the best deal and not just the deal available.
I would be worried that if we constrain ourselves that we have to get a deal by a certain date, that we maybe have to, maybe do some things or give up some things.
Carney met behind closed doors with provincial and territorial leaders for more than 2 hours, telling them that he and senior federal officials are engaged in continuous discussions with the Americans. But the Prime Minister offered no assurance that a good deal for Canada will be reached in the next 10 days, or whether the country is ready to retaliate with counter tariffs.
We'll take stock if there isn't one that works. A good deal is something that preserves, reinforces, and stabilizes those relationships as much as possible. A good deal is also one that doesn't tie our hands.
Premiers then took part in a strategy session with former ambassadors to the U.S. about next steps.
There's one thing we can thank President Trump for, is getting us moving, getting us united like I've never seen before.
The Prime Minister and Premiers also discussed ways to build new trade relationships with trusted partners other than the U.S., as well as ways to support affected industries should tariffs linger. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Huntsville, Ontario.
U.S. President Donald Trump has been calling Canadians mean and nasty for boycotting U.S. products. Now his ambassador, Pete Hoekstra, says Canada's approach doesn't contribute to a positive relationship between the two countries. CTV's Abigail Bimman has more on the audio from a summit speech.
As well. There are reasons why the president and some of his team refer to Canada as being mean and nasty to deal with.
Speaking at the Pacific Northwest Economic Region Summit Monday, U.S. Ambassador to Canada Pete Hoekstra offered these examples.
Canadians staying home, that's their business. I don't like it, but if that's what they want to do, it's fine. If you want to ban American alcohol, that's fine. It doesn't necessarily send real positive signals in terms of they're treating us well.
Then offered a line that got a laugh about his own cross-border business.
I can get alcohol across the border if I wanted to, because we go back and forth to Michigan and they don't check my car when I come back. Okay?
If you're a mean and nasty Canadian for standing up for our sovereignty and our economy and our jobs, well, I think most Canadians would be proud to be considered mean and nasty.
The audio was received by and released from BC's Premier's office. David Eby is calling on Canadians to keep it up, keep buying Canadian and vacationing in Canada.
I think it's interesting that Americans have a hard time understanding why Canadians are so angry at their president's suggestion that our sovereignty is at risk.
I'm pretty shocked. I find it very ironic. President Trump is calling us mean.
One former Canadian ambassador to the U.S. says the pot is calling the kettle black.
Leave the ambassador out of it. The president says this over and over again. He's constantly calling us nasty and terrible negotiators and everything else. The United States is one of the most protectionist companies in the world.
Frank McKenna stressed the overall positivity and optimism from Ambassador Hoekstra. So too did the U.S. Embassy, telling CTV News in a statement the ambassador spoke for nearly an hour and emphasized his optimism about the future of the Canada-U.S. relationship. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
Ottawa is investing $14.4 million from the Climate and Action Awareness Fund in 16 environmental literacy projects throughout the country.
These projects support the development of green learning spaces, learning materials and opportunities, teacher training, and educator professional development on environmental education. It's also about helping on research on environmental literacy and its impacts.
Environment and Climate Change Minister Josie Brooks said these projects will provide Canadian youth the knowledge and skills they need in the face of environmental challenges. The town of Jasper, Alberta came together today to mark 1 year since 25,000 people were forced to flee a rampaging wildfire.
Recovery is ongoing. There is still much work to do. Yet Jasper is here.
Jasper's beauty and spirit have always inspired, and they will continue to do so.
In recent days, Alberta Premier Danielle Smith has condemned an independent report commissioned by the town that criticized the provincial response to the wildfires. The mayor of Jasper says he stands by the report, insisting it wasn't meant to become a, quote, political instrument. Police in New York State say the 9-year-old girl from Montreal, whose body was discovered over the weekend, died from drowning. The news coming after police released the autopsy results for Melina Fratelin. Melina's father, Luciano, is facing charges of second-degree murder and concealment of a human corpse in connection with her death. Police say Melina's body was found Sunday about 50 kilometers northeast of Lake George near the New York-Vermont boundary. And the music world is reeling at news of the death of an energetic Ozzy Osbourne, who rose to fame in the 1970s as the frontman for Black Sabbath. His family asking for privacy after confirming that their patriarch was gone. CTV's Heather Wright looks back at the life of an extraordinary performer.
The godfather of heavy metal, the Prince of Darkness. Ozzy Osbourne was a showman, a singer, and later a reality TV star who rose to fame in the 1970s as the frontman of Black Sabbath. Known for his iconic wail, Osbourne was an icon of the heavy metal genre he helped pioneer. Today, the Osbourne family said in a statement, "It is with more sadness than mere words can convey that we have to report that our beloved Ozzy Osbourne has passed away this morning. He was with his family and surrounded by love." Born John Michael Osbourne in Birmingham, England, Osbourne recorded more than half a dozen albums with Black Sabbath, including hits like Paranoid and War Pigs. But by 1979, his struggles with substance abuse were so severe, he was fired by the band. Osbourne went on to have a successful solo career and was later inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame twice, with both Black Sabbath and as a solo artist. Both beloved and controversial, Osbourne once bit off the head of a bat while on stage and was arrested for trying to strangle his wife while drunk. He later reconciled with his wife Sharon and became a reality TV dad to a whole new generation in the show The Osbournes, along with 2 of his 5 children, Jack and Kelly. In 2020, Osbourne announced he had Parkinson's disease and, despite his health challenges, tried many times to return to the stage. Just weeks ago, he performed from a black throne on stage with Black Sabbath in his hometown of Birmingham. It was his first show in 20 years with the original band members, and it would be the last of his legendary life. Heather Wright, CTV News.
Coming up, an increase of great white shark sightings off the coast of Nova Scotia.
Tomorrow on CTV Morning Live, we're talking about the Amazing Race Canada. We'll be in conversation with the latest eliminated team to break down their journey.
News, weather, and traffic. It's everything you need. CTV Morning Live, weekdays 6 to 9.
Question for all of you out there. Do rabbits travel in packs? We don't know. Well, that's the question that was being discussed in that shot up in the control room. Okay, let's get to more important things. The air quality health index right now is at a 7 in Regina. Earlier when I checked about an hour ago, it was sitting at a 9. It is expected to get worse as we head into tonight and into tomorrow to about a 10 plus. So we're going to continue monitoring this for much of tomorrow, for much of the province. It is looking like it's going to be very high risk. So if you do have any activities planned for tomorrow, I would suggest maybe hold off at least a day until we see the wind direction change and we hopefully start to see much of the smoke clear. But as Director Gore did mention earlier, it is looking like it's starting to dissipate just a little compared to about an hour ago when we were looking outside. Current temperature 20 degrees, did warm up to 21. That was the warmest we got in the Regina area. Winds have slightly picked up just over 10 kilometers an hour. And as we take a look at what we can expect for active weather, we have seen a little bit of scattered precipitation in southern Saskatchewan, a little bit more into central Saskatchewan, and we will see a little bit more of that rain come through in northern Saskatchewan as well. But before what we're looking at right now, possibly a little bit of storm activity just south of the Maple Creek area. As we head into tonight, we'll start to see a lot of that start to break up as well. And then we won't be really left with much in terms of rain or precipitation as we continue into the rest of the week. There is still, by the time we get into Thursday, we could see a little bit more of that activity, but what we see come through southern Saskatchewan, especially into Wednesday evening, will be mostly scattered precipitation. Same with that little blob of rain that's going to come through Thursday morning, just north of the Regina area and in and around the Hudson Bay area. Could see some scattered showers, but again, by Thursday late afternoon, mostly clear conditions right across the board there. And there is that system that's going to come in through the Lloydminster area, and then essentially looking like it will cut through into Prince Albert. Could possibly be a thunderstorm coming through that area by Friday morning as well. But as you can see, for much of central southern Saskatchewan, mostly clear conditions for much of Thursday and Friday. So we just got to get through tomorrow, which is looking like it will be quite hazy. An updated look at rainfall numbers. Not much for central southern Saskatchewan, but further north we go. Prince Albert, Lloydminster, North Battleford, seeing a little bit more of that precipitation expected with the system that's expected to come through. It's the elephant in the room. We're going to talk about this smoke forecast. Again, much of tomorrow looking quite hazy, and then as we get into Wednesday night into Thursday, we will start to see things start to clear up. Temperatures a little cooler tomorrow, 19 for Lloydminster, 22 mainly sunny for Prince Albert, a little closer to seasonal for La Ronge and La Loche. Saskatoon, 19 mainly sunny. Cool tonight, though, especially for North Battleford, Saskatoon, in single digits, but warming up to 21 for North Battleford, Yorkton, 19 for Swift Current, Moose Jaw, 21 for Maple Creek, 21 also for Weyburn, 22 for Estevan, and 18 for Assiniboia for us here. 14 tonight, slight chance to see some scattered showers tonight, but very slight chance. 19 and hazy tomorrow with that smoke. And here's what your next 7 days are looking like. So 19 tomorrow, hazy conditions, but behind the smoke there is some sunshine expected. Mainly sunny Thursday, 26 degrees. I know this is the elephant in the room, so we're just going to get it out of the way. All right, sunny and 29 on Friday, game day, as the Riders are taking on Edmonton. The winds are coming from the south on Thursday, hoping to push the smoke up. On Friday, the winds are going to be coming from the west, hoping to push it out towards into the Manitoba area. So hopefully a good night for some football. It is Christmas in July, so it's expected to be a good game day. And then we're going to just continue to see a very nice warm weekend ahead with temperatures close to 30s, high 20s. Back into work week there, 24 mainly sunny for Tuesday, 26 degrees. I know it was the elephant in the room, so I wanted to just address it now.
How many elephants are in how many rooms in this weather forecast?
Just the one on Friday, because it's stressing me out.
I'm sure things will go splendidly.
It'll be fine. Like I said, Christmas in July. It's going to be a great night.
What could go wrong?
Nothing.
Thank you, Sabine.
Goodbye.
Well, shark lovers are flocking to Nova Scotia as there's been more great white shark sightings off the coast of the province than ever before. I got to get down there. CTV's Brianne Foley joined a tour to see if she could catch a glimpse of one in its natural habitat.
Humans can't get enough of sharks, and marine ecologist Dr. Neil Hammerschlag isn't surprised.
People love their monsters. We know more about outer space than we do about the oceans, let alone the sharks in the ocean. So I think just that unknown, that mystery, and the fact that these are powerful predators.
For those who study the apex predators, the increased sightings of great whites in Nova Scotia waters is a positive.
Not only is it a good thing to see more individuals in terms of the health of their population, but it means that us as researchers are able to collect the data that we need to understand them better and hopefully protect them more.
That is a sign of hope for the oceans and for conservation and for the sharks themselves. You know, great whites are listed as endangered in Canada.
Atlantic Shark Expeditions has been taking enthusiasts on cage dives for 3 years now, giving the public an opportunity to see the creatures up close and personal.
I think sharks are a really big indicator of the biodiversity we have, and it shows a really healthy ecosystem. So when we're seeing sharks, it shows that we have really amazing, healthy oceans, and I think that's really cool.
And while great white sharks seem like the apex predator to us, it's actually humans that are the apex predator to them, killing over 100 million sharks per year. Having great whites in Nova Scotian waters is good for the ecosystem, and as for me, well, it's my turn to get in there.
Though Monday's expedition was the first of the season without a shark spotting, it was still a jaw-dropping experience.
I love when guests come aboard and then they leave feeling like sharks deserve to be protected and that they also helped do their part in making that happen.
To actually experience sharks, see their true nature, it's life-changing and it's mind-blowing because these animals aren't these mindless killers that they're portrayed to be rushing in. They're curious and they're cautious.
Just like humans. Brianne Foley, CTV News, off the coast of Nova Scotia.
Still ahead, Riders quarterback Trevor Harris continues to impress, having one of his best starts in his long career. More on the offense after the break.
Wardrobe consideration in part by Colin O'Brien Men's Shop.
Well, since missing one game with a slight concussion, Riders quarterback Trevor Harris has been slinging the ball around the field, throwing for 820 yards in just 2 games. In fact, his last game caught the attention of a football analytics group. Jacob Carr has the details.
First and 10 from the 30. Harris pump fake. Now a shot down the sideline. Touchdown Riders.
Trevor Harris was slinging the pigskin all over the field in Week 7's win against BC. He accounted for 395 yards through the air to go with 3 passing touchdowns, earning him Pro Football Focus's top quarterback grade of the week. But the Riders QB is trying not to read his own press clippings.
You've heard Nick Saban say it before, it's rat poison, right? And it's good, or whether it's good or bad, you start patting yourself on the back or beating yourself up. Neither one of them are true. Every week's a new week, and that's why Coach Mace talks all the time about going 1-0.
A big part of the impressive aerial assault against the Lions was Keyshawn Johnson, who had 77 yards on 6 catches. Johnson says the receivers don't pay much attention to individual accolades, but that it's still nice to see their quarterback recognized.
You know, it feels good. You know, that means that we're doing our job and we're doing it at a high level, and that's something that we pride ourselves on, and we try to execute each play each week.
Harris says the opposing defense will always dictate who the ball goes to, so Johnson and Dante Myers were the recipients of most of the targets against BC, accounting for 15 of Harris's 30 attempts.
Sometimes when you watch Keyshawn, make the first, second guy miss every time and get upfield for those sneaky 5-6 yards afterwards. And and Dante he's just one of those guys where he's got a lot of juice and explosiveness, and so we're lucky to have him, and we're going to try and keep putting them in positions.
The Green and White will look to put on another aerial show this Friday against the visiting Edmonton Elks, but know that a duplicate performance won't be handed to them.
I got a lot of good guys. The record, doesn't show how good they are. That's something that we emphasize. Don't go out there, don't take a team lightly for what the record is. They're a good team. They have got a lot of good players over there, so we want to go out and start fast, finish fast.
Jacob Carr, CTV News, Regina.
With running backs Kadeem Carey and Thomas Bertrand-Houdon on a 6-game injured list, the Riders re-signed a CFL rookie.
Here's red zone. Handoff. Anderson. Goal line. Touchdown. Riders score.
Mario Anderson back with the club. The University of Memphis product initially made the team on a practice roster. 14 carries on 37 yards and a touchdown in the preseason, along with 3 catches for 35 yards. He was released late last month. A.J. Ouellette right now is the only other American running back currently on the active roster. Well, for the second time in 3 years, a Regina woman didn't spare anyone at the Canadian Masters 5-pin bowling championships, taking home the national title. Damian Smith has more.
Josie Brooks, a Regina bowler, is returning home with her second Masters win in 3 years. On June 27th, she won the 5-pin Canadian Masters Ladies Singles Tournament in Surrey, British Columbia. 2023 was her first Masters win in St. John's, Newfoundland, where it was down to the wire. This time around, she won by 17 in the final game.
I was more prepared for this one as well. Leading up, I put a lot of work into the mental side of it and like the mental physical prep, whereas before, of course, I put work in, but I kind of knew the exact kind of work that I needed to put into this one opposed to the last time.
Now, June 27th was also an emotional day for Josie, as that was her grandma's birthday, who is also a bowler herself, but she unfortunately passed away 6 years ago. Her grandma isn't the only bowler in her family. Brooks comes from a long line of bowlers, including her dad, Bill, who has been there every step of the way.
I actually, with her success, and just to know that she's so confident within herself, I don't have to worry about necessarily how she's feeling on the lanes. I know she's fine. So the less I have to worry about her, it kind of makes it a lot easier for me.
Training since she was 5 years old, Josie has learned how to balance the mental side of the game, something that has become more important since she started competing professionally in 2019.
But as soon as you let go of that ball, the crowd erupts, and it's such a wonderful feeling to know that there's support behind you and you're not really just doing it by yourself.
The feeling she is giving to the next generation of bowlers is teaching the younger generation to perhaps be the next great champion from Regina. Damian Smith, CTV News, Regina.
Still to come, concern over 2 convicted women killers currently on dating apps in Alberta.
Welcome back. For those who were wondering, a group of rabbits or bunnies is a warren or a fluffle. And so thank you to the viewer who called in. And also, Brenda looked into it. A colony was the other one. These are the conversations we have during commercials. All right, let's get into your rural forecast and see what you can expect as we head into tomorrow. Many areas will still see temperatures get into the 20s, but many are also going to see those daytime highs in the high teens. We do have a cold front coming through, so some cooler temperatures on the way. But again, we will start to see those temperatures warm up above seasonal by the end of this week. And a little bit more sunshine expected as we take a look at tomorrow. But also keep in mind, could still be hazy due to some of that wildfire smoke that's continuing to affect much of the province. Many areas, including many that we're seeing on the screen right now, under those air quality warnings. So mainly sunny for Melfort, 21 degrees, 19 mostly cloudy for Outlook, 19 for Lloydminster. When we get closer to the southern border, temperatures still within that same range, 18 and cloudy for Rockland, Assiniboia, East End Cypress, 19 and cloudy. Carlisle could see some precipitation, 20 degrees there, and hazy for Lumsden and Pilot Butte. But sunshine behind that smoke, 19 degrees is a daytime high. Taking a closer look at Kerrobert, where internet speeds up to 1 gig are available through SaskTel, located about 440 kilometers northwest of Regina. 18 degrees tomorrow, also under the air quality warning, but will be mainly sunny conditions behind all that smoke.
There are growing concerns after recent warnings on social media that 2 men convicted of killing women are active on dating apps right now in Alberta. The mother of one of the victims and some groups behind the warning post say it's about protecting women, but legal experts say it raises questions about privacy and vigilantism. CTV's Terry Fikowski has more.
Ladies, be careful.
Warning circulating on social media about two men with violent pasts active on dating apps in Alberta. Women on Wings Society, a domestic violence support group, posted, "Ladies beware," after seeing a profile on Facebook dating for a man convicted of manslaughter and causing indignity to the body of a Calgary mother.
You know, if these women are not fully aware of the background of these men that are on these dating sites or who they're meeting, there's a lot of potential for danger there.
The victim's mother also worries women may unknowingly end up on a date with her daughter's killer.
Because to me, people don't change. Anyone that's been charged or incarcerated with causing bodily harm or causing death, they really should come with a warning.
Other posts, like this one by Lost Souls Media, warn of another man convicted of second-degree murder of a woman in BC, now living in Calgary and spotted on dating apps. But a criminal defense lawyer says these men have been released from prison and served their debt to society.
When they're done, they're done. And they are entitled to all the rights and privileges of any other Canadian.
How did he serve his time? He was sentenced to life in prison and did 7 years. He didn't serve his time.
CTV News is not identifying the men because while we've seen the dating profiles, we reached out to both men to confirm they were created by them and aren't fake accounts, but did not hear back. The social media posts are also concerning for this legal expert who worries they could lead to vigilante action.
There have been lots of cases where individuals have misidentified someone, done harm to the person they've misidentified, and then face criminal charges themselves. So it's rolling the dice, and I don't think they should be doing that.
But to some, the warnings are warranted if they could possibly prevent another tragedy.
Me, her kids, her family, we get life. We get life without her.
Terry Fikowski, CTV News, Calgary.
Stocks, TSX up 47 points. The Dow Jones up 179 points. The Canadian dollar, it went up almost half a cent to 73.50 cents U.S. Gold went up $34.43. West Texas Intermediate crude down 64 cents. Western Canadian Select crude up 21 cents. And gas in Regina commonly found in most places, if not all, for now $1, 29.4 cents per liter.
Hello there. America's broad S&P 500 stock index hit a new record high today. That's after the Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, said that he will meet with his Chinese counterparts next week in Stockholm for a third round of talks aimed at extending a tariff truce. The Treasury chief told Bloomberg that, quote, trade is in a very good place with China. Yields on U.S. bonds fell, which often indicates that investors are less nervous about inflation. But there are clouds on the trade front. Reuters says the European Union is exploring a broader set of countermeasures against the U.S. as prospects fade for an acceptable deal. Toronto stocks rose today, but they were still just down from Thursday's record high. Heavily weighted Shopify dropped. It was cut to hold by an analyst at Loop Capital who said the shares look richly priced at almost 15 times revenue. That's the latest in business. I'm Andrew Bell of BNN Bloomberg.
Coming up tonight after the newscast, guess what? Amazing Race Canada at 9. That's all you need to know. Wasn't exactly great beach weather in Edmonton, but hey, that doesn't stop these corgis from having a great time.
Yeah, for a dog so low to the ground, these corgis sure move fast. Corgis and their owners took to the North Saskatchewan River for a friendly competition. Organizers were looking for the fastest corgi in the city. Okay, that's cute.
Out of a kerfluffle.
No,
of rabbits.
A fluffle? What, fluffle? Furfuffle?
Fluffle.
Oh, see, I already don't like where this is going. Chinese firm UB Tech has now unveiled the first humanoid robot that changes its own batteries. Yeah, no.
Yeah, batteries are low. Walker S2 walks over the charging dock and is like, removes the empty battery from its chest, places it on the charging dock, and inserts a new one. Previously, the robots had limited function, only operating 4 hours at a time. The independent battery swapping now extended times and doesn't need human assistance, because we might as well make robots that don't need any human assistance at all.
I don't like it.
I'm scared.